Welcome to English Mastery Voyage channel.
The Deer Family's Journey. It was summer, and the forest was suffering from an unusually prolonged drought. It hadn't rained for months, causing the rivers and streams to dry up gradually. The animals were suffering, desperately searching for food and water. Among them was a family of deer father, mother, and their young fawn. They decided to embark on a journey to find water. Mr. Deer, Mrs. Deer, and their little fawn set off early one morning. As they walked, the sun beat down relentlessly, and the ground beneath their hooves was parched and cracked as they trekked through the forest. They encountered a small problem. Little Fawn tripped over a rock and twisted his ankle. "Are you okay?" "My dear," Mrs. Deer asked with concern. "I'm fine, Mom. I can keep going," the fawn replied bravely, though he limped slightly. With cautious steps, the deer family continued their journey. Hours passed, and their throats grew parched. Just when they were about to lose hope, they spotted a small stream glistening in the distance. They felt a surge of relief and excitement. The young fawn leaped forward, eager to quench its thirst, but the father deer stopped it. "Wait," he cautioned. "Look over there." In the distance, under the shade of a large tree, lay a tiger. It had been drinking from the stream and was now resting. When the tiger saw the deer family approaching, it stood up and growled, signaling that the stream was its territory and it wouldn't share the water with the deer. The deer family froze in fear. The father deer stepped forward and bowed his head. "We are sorry for intruding, but we are desperate for water. Can you find it in your heart to share just a little with us?" The tiger's eyes narrowed and it growled again. "Why should I share my stream with you?" Just then, the young fawn, with innocent eyes, stepped forward and said, "Please, Mr. Tiger, we promise not to take too much. We just need a little to quench our thirst and continue our journey." Little Fawn said with a trembling voice, but his eyes were sincere and pleading. The tiger stared at the fawn, its growls subsiding. It saw the desperation in the deer's eyes and was moved by the young fawn's bravery and honesty. After a tense moment, the tiger finally nodded. "All right, you may drink, but be quick," it said gruffly. The deer family gratefully approached the stream and drank the refreshing water. Their parched throats were soothed, and they felt their strength returning. They thanked the tiger for its kindness and promised to be careful. As they left, the tiger watched them go. It realized that sometimes, even in the animal kingdom, compassion and kindness could go a long way. The Daisy and the Rose. In a beautiful garden, there lived a daisy and a rose. They grew next to each other, each thinking they were the most beautiful flower in the garden. One sunny morning, the daisy proudly stretched its white petals wide open. "Look at my pure white petals," said the daisy. "I am the most beautiful flower in this garden." The rose, with its deep red petals, shook its head. "Oh, dear daisy," said the rose, "you may be pretty, but my deep red petals are much more attractive. I am the most beautiful flower in the garden." The daisy and the rose began to argue. "My petals are like the stars in the sky," boasted the daisy. "They shine bright and make everyone smile." "Nonsense," replied the rose. "My petals are like the colors of the sunset. They bring warmth and love to everyone who sees them." Their argument continued all day. Neither the daisy nor the rose was willing to admit that the other might be more beautiful. They decided to ask the birds, bees, and ants for their opinion. First, they called out to a bird perched on a tree branch. "Dear bird," said the daisy, "please tell us who is more beautiful, the daisy or the rose?" The bird looked at both flowers and smiled. "Both of you are beautiful in your own way," said the bird. "The daisy has bright, cheerful petals, and the rose has deep, passionate petals." Next, they asked a bee buzzing nearby. "Dear bee," said the rose, "who do you think is more beautiful, the daisy or the rose?" The bee landed on each flower, sipping nectar from their petals. "Both of you are beautiful," said the bee. "The daisy's petals are simple and elegant, while the rose's petals are rich and romantic." Finally, they called over an ant working hard on the ground. "Dear ant," said the daisy and the rose together, "please tell us who is more beautiful, the daisy or the rose?" Ant paused and looked up at both flowers. "Beauty is not something that can be compared," said the ant. "Each of you has your own unique charm. The daisy brings joy with its simplicity, and the rose brings love with its elegance." Hearing this, the daisy and the rose realized that they did not need to compete. They were both beautiful in their own ways. From that day on, they stopped arguing and enjoyed the sunshine together, each appreciating the other's beauty. And so, the daisy and the rose came to understand that true beauty lies in the eyes of the beholder. The Lazy Boy's School Supplies. Once upon a time, in a cluttered desk in a small room, a group of school supplies lived together. They belonged to a young boy who was quite lazy and didn't like to study. One evening, supplies began to talk about their owner. The pencil, which was always the first to speak, started the conversation. "Our boy is so lazy," said the pencil. "He rarely uses me to write anything. My lead is still sharp from the last time he used me." The eraser, who was sitting next to the pencil, nodded in agreement. "True," said the eraser. "I am still as clean as the day he got me. He doesn't make mistakes because he doesn't do any work." The notebook, which lay open on the desk side. "I have so many blank pages," it said. "He doesn't write his notes or do his homework. I feel so useless." The ruler, leaning against the wall, chimed in. "I haven't measured anything in weeks," it complained. "I was bought to help him with his math, but he never does his math homework." The school bag, which was slouched on the floor, joined the conversation. "He hardly ever takes me to school," it said. "I have so much room because he doesn't carry his books or supplies." Suddenly, a voice came from the far corner of the desk. It was the alarm clock. "You know, it's not just about being lazy," said Dick. "The clock. Our boy struggles to wake up in the morning," he stays up late and then can't get up on time for school. He needs our help, not our criticism." The school supplies fell silent, realizing that they had been too harsh. The pencil spoke. Up again, this time with a softer tone. "Maybe we can help him," it said. "If we work together, we can encourage him to study and do his homework." The eraser agreed. "Yes, we can remind him that it's okay to make mistakes," it said. "I'm here to help him correct them." The notebook added, "I will be ready with open pages, waiting for his notes and thoughts." The ruler suggested, "I will make math more fun for him. I can show him how exciting it is to measure and solve problems." The school bag stood up tall. "I will be proud to carry his books and supplies and be there for him every day." The alarm clock smiled. "And I will wake him up on time so he can start his day fresh and ready to learn." From that day on, the school supplies worked together to help their owner. They made studying more enjoyable and encouraged him to do his best. The boy began to use his pencil, eraser, notebook, and ruler regularly. He packed his school bag every evening and woke up on time every morning with the support of his school supplies. The boy's attitude towards studying changed. He no longer felt lazy or unmotivated. Instead, he became eager to learn and do his best in school, and so, the lazy boy's school supplies found their purpose, helping their owner to succeed and find joy in learning.